Congresswoman Marie Gluesenkamp Perez of Washington State. She's one of the few House Democrats who won in a district where Trump also won. Congratulations on your reelection. I know it was tough. There's only 3 House Democrats that were elected that are from districts that Trump won also, right? You, Capter, and Jared Golden in Maine's second.
Yeah.
How'd you do it? What's the lesson for the Democratic Party writ large?
Well, where I live, I think we're really tired of having, a set of talking points and priorities and values imported from Washington, D.C. to our home. We want to see our values and priorities reflected and advanced in Washington, D.C., not the other way around. Like, we've got to flip that stream of influence because the things that we care about are not often talked about in national media. Right now, in one of my largest hospitals, 40% of the babies born have at least one parent addicted to fentanyl.
40%?
40%. It is ravaging a lot of rural America. And take people seriously. Like, it is everywhere. Take it seriously. Listen to them. That is real empathy. We want good jobs that don't require a college degree. We want to get our family business to the next generation. We want to have strong regional economies. In my state, Washington State, the second largest emitter of CO2 is wildfire. And one of my school districts just went down to a 4-day school week because of falling revenue from timber harvest. Right? So talking about our issues, reflecting and respecting and showing up, being present, available, accountable. So before being elected, I ran an auto repair and machine shop. I live on a gravel road. My son was 8 months old when I decided to run. I know how hard it is for people like me to feel heard and be heard. And so I really focus hard on showing up. I go out to every county, hold in-person town halls. It's okay to get yelled at,
Yeah.
You got to listen to people and lift up in the hood and see what is the part of this argument we agree on.
So let me ask you a question about fentanyl, because it's certainly undercovered. One of the reasons it's undercovered is because it's tough to tell the story of people who are in the throes of addiction for any number of obvious reasons. What do you think needs to be done? What do you think the government needs to be doing that it's not?
Well, I was very clear that I thought the Biden administration was failing to secure the southern border. I think we needed to have...
I think a lot of people thought that.
Yeah. And people where I live, certainly, and we felt like if this was something that was happening to people with more wealth and influence, they would have done something about it earlier.
Interesting. So you told the New York Times a story that was really interesting. It was an interaction you had with then Vice President, or she's still Vice President, Kamala Harris during her Naval Observatory Christmas party. And you said, quote, "I noticed that almost all the garlands were plastic. My district grows a hell of a lot of Christmas trees. I was strong-armed into taking a picture. I said, Madam Vice President, we grow those where I live," meaning real, not plastic trees. And she just walked away from me. There was kind of an eye roll maybe. I didn't feel like she understood what I was trying to say. Not to pick on Kamala Harris here in probably not her favorite month of her life. But is that emblematic of how you think Democrats in Washington look at issues that you and people like you bring up?
Well, I'm not Harris and I'm not a strategist. There's not one weird trick that's going to fix the party. In some ways what I'm arguing for is a deindustrialization of politics. We cannot talk about the same things to every person. We have to listen to our communities and reflect our values and our perspectives honestly and fiercely. And so I think there are a lot of people like me who could run and win in seats like this. We have to challenge the narrative of who is qualified and capable of legislating. We want a representative body. We want people who have turned wrenches, changed diapers, driven trucks. And that is how you get good legislation, and that is how you start to unwind this polarization that we're seeing.
I do want to ask you about one other thing, which is that not only in July did you call on President Biden to drop his reelection bid, but you suggested that if he couldn't do that, he shouldn't be president, which was a very bold and brave thing to say. And I think you're the only Democrat in Congress who did it, even though there were lots of Democrats saying he needed to step, not lots, but a few Democrats and then everybody saying he needed to step down. You said, "I doubt the president's judgment about his health, his fitness to do the job, and whether he's the one making important decisions about our country. The president should do what he knows is right for the country, put the national interest first." I'm not taking issue with what you're saying. It makes sense to a lot of people, and I'm sure you heard from a lot of your constituents who said, "I know what that is. I know what that is. I have a mom, I have a dad, I have a grandma." Were you surprised that you were the only one that did that?
Yeah, I think somebody else, I think Jared also
did Jared do it?
Okay. And
okay, so the two people in Trump district.
Right, and what we were talking about primarily is not political punditry. I don't feel an obligation to insert myself into a national race.
Sure.
I was talking about the role of presidency. and
Yeah.
saying that I am hearing at daycare drop-off, at the grocery store, people have real, profound, widely held concerns about whether the country is being properly governed. And so the sort of presidential race, like that was not, I did not feel a moral obligation there. But to talk
Well, you felt a moral obligation to your constituents.
yes, that they were being, that the person they voted for was the one running the show. That was the concern. And so, you know, I've been pretty committed to not inserting myself to a national presidential race.
No, you said that to a local newspaper, I should just point out.
Yeah, and it wasn't about the campaign. It was
Right.
about the role of presidency itself.
Yeah. No, I hear you. But were you surprised you were so alone?
Well, you know,
To publicly say it when so many people thought it privately?
I guess I don't have a lot of preconceived, like everybody should, you know, reflect their views, the views of their community. That's what I'm doing, and it's not my job to tell other people how to do their jobs. It's just my job to tell the truth as I'm hearing it and seeing it in my community.
So you know that I think you're one of the most interesting members of Congress that we have. So like you want to be heard, come here more. Not more than once a year, okay? We would have you on every week if you wanted. Like people need to hear from Democrats like you.
I really appreciate that. Thank you. There's a lot of us out there. There are a lot of people just like me who could do this.
I don't know about that, but anyway, Democratic Congresswoman Marie Gluesenkamp Perez, thank you. Come back soon. Okay, good to see you.